Hey everyone, Dalton Grados with Grados Capital here. I wanted to make a quick video to explain the market internals when trading the ES or the SPX, the S&P 500. And really, these are some of the most important things to look at when you're trading the index, the S&P index here. So first, I'm going to show you, I know you can see on my charts if you're familiar with the mood indicator. I'll go over that later in the video. But I'm going to show you first the individual internals that you need to be looking at. And these are things that I'm looking at that really heavily influence my decisions when it comes to trading the SPX or ES futures. And so let's get into it. The first is going to be this ticker right here. You can type it in. You can see a chart of it. It's the $VOLSPD. And that is the up volume, the difference in the up volume and down volume in the S&P. So in other words, it's the volume moving into upward moving stocks versus the volume moving into downward moving stocks. And so this is a big indicator of strength. Now, you can see the chart here, and we see the number here. This is just over, looks like 77 million. So we ended the day positive 77 million shares of volume. So what that basically means is there is 77 million more shares moving into upward moving stocks versus downward moving stocks. Now, what does that really mean in the grand scheme of things? 77 million sounds like a lot, but in the grand scheme of the whole S&P 500, how much is that really? That's going to come down to the breadth here in the mood indicator, which I will get to in a minute. But first, let's go ahead and go through the rest of the indicators here, the internals. The next one is the advancing declining line. That is $ADSPD. And this is the difference in advancing stocks that are advancing versus stocks that are declining. You saw we were a little bit choppy today, and today was a pretty choppy day in the S&P. But basically, this number is calculated. There's 500 stocks in the S&P, so it's the ones that are moving up versus the ones that are moving down. How many? So, I think most of the day we were like around positive 150 to 200, which means so that's bullish. We had more stocks moving up than moving down. And of course, the number indicates strength. So, we ended the day with 87. So that's not very strong. If you have a plus 300 or 400, that's very bullish. If you have a negative 300 or 400, that's very bearish. And then sometimes when you get, kind of neutral, maybe around plus or minus 100, that kind of indicates the market's going to be pretty flat because, between the stocks in the 500 that are advancing and declining, it's not as drastic of a difference. So that's a great number to pay attention to. And then the final internal indicator here is the tick, and that's marked by a $TIKSP, and this shows the stocks that are ticking up and down out of the 500 in a given day. Now you can see today was pretty choppy. Now this chart tends to typically be, pretty much in the center. But what you're looking for here is making new highs and lows, right? So in our tick, this is something that Peter Reznичek with Shadow Trader constantly emphasizes is, you can tell an uptrend if the tick is not making new lower lows. If we are making lower lows, or if we are, constantly rejecting highs in the tick, then that can indicate more of a bearish trend. And of course, again, the numbers in this matter. So, like let's look at today. Today was again a choppy day. We kind of stayed at our highs. The tick was around 300, um, moving up, and at our lows, around 300, moving down. So pretty balanced there. But the tick is great to look at when, especially for intraday trading, day trading, and scalping. You're looking at how many stocks are currently ticking up versus ticking down. And that can give you a good indicator here. So what Shadow Trader will do, he puts these three, the vol, the advancers, decliners, and the tick, puts those three plus a chart of the SPX, and calls it the quad. You can put all four of those. Like if I had like vol here, advancing, declining here, S&P, you can make it a quad. But now what I have is really cool. It's called the mood indicator, and that's what you see down here. And this is kind of telling me all of these internals on a dashboard. And so you can see here the S&P percent change, the sector pull. There's our tick. There's our vol in terms of breadth, and then there's our advancing declining number. And it also gives me some calculations on what it thinks the mood of the market is, and even a potential trade, skewed bullish iron condor. I'm going to go over how to get the mood indicator in a second, but I want to go over this number here, this vol breadth. This is what's important to pay attention to, is the breadth. So it's put in a ratio in terms of the volume difference. So instead of just having that chart, we have this ratio here. So a 1-to-1 ratio of volume is not really enough volume to make a big move either way. And as you can see, we were pretty choppy. On this, if we go to yesterday, this down move here, this is where we might have seen this be red and a much higher negative volume, maybe even a -3-to-1, even -4-to-1 volume. That is where you can really have some strength in the move, and you can trust the direction of that. So the strength of the volume and the ratio here, the breadth, is really a great indicator. So I knew that today we were going to be choppy because of this vol indicator, where it was kind of around 1-to-1, 1.5-to-1. We weren't really going to move strong either way. And sure enough, we were basically flat today. Now, the mood indicator itself is an open source indicator in Thinkorswim, and this is the website. It's 0dtetrading.com. This is open source. It was made by a guy in our Tasty Trade Options Facebook group named Hassan Moussaid. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. And then a woman named Jody Miller actually came along and made some improvements to it. And so you can go to this website, and it's totally free. You can, if you have Thinkorswim, you can go to the mood indicator right here, and it'll just give you the script study, and you can implement that into your Thinkorswim. It's a really great tool and is really helpful. So in summary, the mood indicator and the internals that I'm looking at are the volume of advancers minus decliners, the number of advancers minus decliners in the 500, and the tick. And watching those, I'm telling you, I have been really digging deep into a lot of the content by Peter Reznicek and Jim Dalton, and understanding market profile and utilizing internals. And I'm telling you, I'm doing a lot better especially in my 0DTE trading, with trusting the market internals and prioritizing them over price. So for example, like even today, this level here, this is just a quick example, the 4360 level, when we were at this candle, it looked like we were breaking down below support. But I literally consciously told myself while I was trading today, okay, the price is going down, but what are the internals telling you? And looking at my dashboard, I knew that the internals were fine. It did not support a big move lower at all. We had positive vol, positive advancers and decliners. And sure enough, we maintained our range. So these internals really do make a difference. And hopefully this video was helpful to you because I did actually have some friends actually request this video. So I know it'll definitely be helpful to somebody out there with understanding these market internals and how they work. This is specific to the S&P 500. If you're trading anything else, if you're trading, other stocks or even the NASDAQ, this does not apply. These indicators are specifically for the S&P 500, the ES futures SPY, because they are measuring the movement of those 500 stocks. So hope you enjoyed this video. And again, this is Dalton Grados with Grados Capital. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe to the channel, and let me know, in the comments what you would like to see me cover. What would be helpful to you. I've had a lot more people, friends, and people in my Discord ask me to cover certain topics. This was one of them. So please let me know what else you would like me to cover. I'd be happy to help. Thanks.